Unmute. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome. Hi, Beata. Hi, Sue. Nice to have you in class. That's awesome to have you with me in today. Great to see you again. Uh, uh, there we go. Beata's on silent at the moment. Uh, I'm just seeing somebody's connecting. We're not sure. Oh, Shirley. Aha, Shirley's back from hospital, I hear. So that's awesome. Um, and
I thought I would
Sue,
add where I'm from, since we're from all over the world or the United
yes, please.
States. So I'm letting you know I'm from Michigan, if anyone else is comfortable doing that.
Ah, great.
No,
And Sue?
I'm from Michigan.
Ah, there we go. Two Michigans.
Oh, this is Sue from Macomb County.
Chesterfield Township.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
Ah,
neighbors. We're neighbors.
okay. This is interesting. It's not allowing me to make him co-host. All right. I have one problem here. Okay. Sorry, I just need to, there's a problem here with Franklin. It won't allow me to make you co-host. I have no idea why. It just says pin. When I click on more, which I normally do, it just says pin. Can you come in a different form? Can you go out and come back as co-host? It won't allow me to co-host you. Okay, there he goes. Shirley. Oh, Shirley's audio's got a problem at the moment. She's been in hospital, and I heard yesterday from my husband she's back at home with her little dog. So she'll be very happy indeed. There we go. Thanks, Franklin. Not sure why it won't allow it. Right. Sue. And Franklin, Shirley. Finally. Hi, Shirley.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Good evening. I hear your dog is very happy to have you back.
Oh yeah.
Lovely. Oh, that's so gorgeous. I'm so glad you're safely home again. Are you feeling better?
No, but the hospital's a pit, so I came home.
You came home. Oh, well, let's hope you can get yourself so that you feel well at home, not at hospital.
I had a reaction to the beta blocker they put on me.
Oh no.
So my feet and legs blew up like balloons. That's a side effect of the drug.
Oh no, that's horrible.
Yeah.
So
they changed the format of these classes, eh?
Yes, we're going very into
first 5 minutes you can't get in.
Yeah, it's because of the bombers that came in. And this is our way of solving that. They're coming into everywhere throughout the world, all different meetings. Everybody's having to use this format in order to try and eradicate them. But I think once we've eradicated them, they may make it a little less than 5 minutes, but we'll have to wait and see a little more than 5 minutes, but we'll have to wait and see whether we can do that. But it's for our own safety and for our own enjoyment of the lessons.
Yeah, I took my iPad with me to the hospital. And the internet was in and out. So I'd get into class and my internet would go out.
Oh.
So then I couldn't get back in.
Oh, that's a problem. Oh, I never thought about that. I'm not sure what happens to us as a host if we go out. Do we get back in or not?
7 floors in that hospital, so a lot of concrete.
Yeah, there is. There's a lot of concrete, and that does affect your internet. Right, welcome everyone. Welcome, Beverly. Lovely to have you here with us as well. Where are you from, Beverly? You want to maybe type it in? Let's just wait and see. Oh, good morning. All right. He's coming to join us as well. Well, this is the last of the animal series for a while. They may bring it back in a few months' time, but the African and Australian animals will go into retirement for a while. And maybe at some stage they'll bring them back on demand. So let's enjoy. Now, today you've got a choice because it's the last one, whether you would like to have the usual African animals, that is your big five and one or two others, or whether you want to talk about the lesser known African animals. So where you can make a choice between yourselves as to which one you would like. Beata, which one would you like?
Lesser, please. Lesser. known.
Shirley?
It doesn't matter to me. You go ahead.
Okay, all right. Sue, which one would you like? We've got two people with probably the lesser known ones. Would you like the...
I took a class from you a couple of months back, and you covered the kangaroos and.
Right, that was Australian. Now this is the African animals.
Oh, then
So-
I don't care. Maybe the
Okay,
less
super.
known. Maybe the less.
Okay, right. Well, we'll go with the lesser known. So let's start sharing. Host disabled okay, no, that's fine. That was not me that was doing that. Okay, I'm not a participant. I have a problem, Franklin. It will not allow me to share my screen. It says host disabled participants screen sharing. I'm not a participant, but it's not allowing me to share my screen. Can you help me with that, please? I need to be able to share my screen.
Well, you got an elephant there behind you, Sue.
Yeah, I do. That's great. It looks like I don't have host rights at the moment, Franklin. It looks like you've got the host rights, not me, because I'm missing some of the things that I can normally do. So can you look into that for me, please? So we'll just have a look at we'll have a chat in the meantime. We've got lovely new formats coming up with lots of lovely ideas that are going to be started in the next few weeks in order to get people more active in class and more interactive, I should say, in class. And so we are bringing in things like road trips. Beata, you would be able to talk very well on a road trip, maybe to the Everglades, something like that. So we're going to do road trips. I will, next week I'm doing it. I'm talking about a lesser known part of South Africa where it's very, very beautiful. And so then from there, everybody else will share their road trips and places they've been to, things like that. And we're also going to be doing things like school days, what your memories of school days, good ones and bad ones, and maybe looking at how to find old school friends as well comes into that. Just the, sort of how you can find your I can never pronounce that word, alma mater, and things like that. So those are all starting to come into the classes so that people are more active and more chatty in class. And I think that's going to be a good idea because a lot of people are on their own and they don't get a chance to chat. And so these are formats where everybody has a free range to be able to chat.
Well, you are so good at, encouraging us to chat. And not every guide is that way to encouraging interactions.
Well, that suits me. I think it's just my nature is to talk and have others talking about their ideas and their experiences and things like that. So until I can share my screen, we have a serious problem. I am the host. but
You are the
I
host.
don't.
It says
But
that on mine too.
But I don't have my hosts, all my icons at the bottom of my page are not there now. So they were there when we started the class, and then I made Franklin host for a few minutes so that he could push us live. And now that he's put me back as host, I am not able to do any of the and I can't make him co-host or anything like that. So I think there's a problem with some of the new formats that the things that they're putting in. It's a little bit of teething problems as we go along. But in the meantime, let's talk about animals. Let me tell you a little about some of the lesser known animals in the meantime, and then we'll look at them as soon as we've got our screen back that we are able to use. One of the lesser known animals, and in fact, when I chatted to some of my friends in South Africa, they said, no, we don't have those. And I said, oh, yes, we do. We have lots. And that's the pangolin. Now, the pangolin looks a little like an armadillo. And he's got a whole lot of armor going down his back, and they are razor sharp. They're in a sort of triangular shape, and if those catch you, then you know all about it, because they will cut. And he rolls up in a ball whenever to keep himself safe, because the only part of him that is really dangerous is dangerous for him is underneath his belly. And so he will roll up in a ball, but he's also a little like a skunk. He can let off the most revolting smell, so that nobody wants to come anywhere near him. And she, I should say, carries her baby on the back of her tail. So she's got this long armadillo-like tail, and the baby sits on the tail and travels everywhere on the tail. And when it's hungry, it lets its mum know and hops down and has something to drink, because it's a mammal, and then back onto the back, and off they go. And it's a wonderful thing to see. And so when we finally got pictures back, we'll be able to do it. But that is one of the most awesome animals that we have. Of course, we've got the largest flightless bird in the world, and that's the ostrich. It looks a lot like an
sorry to interrupt.
No.
Kindly try to share your screen now, as I've seen that you're already the host.
No, it says host disabled participant screen, and it won't allow me to share.
But I can see that you are the host and I am the co-host.
I know, but it won't allow me. I've got a large sign saying that I can't do it, and I'm missing half of my icons at the bottom of the page. It also won't let me do anything with my mouse. It just says pin. If I try and do anything with you, it just says the word pin. So there's definitely a problem there. It just says pin. It won't allow me to do any of the things I would. You see, it says me, Sue, at the top. You know what we've done? You've made Sue the host, not me.
Okay.
We've solved our problem. We've solved
Sue,
the problem.
have you ever stopped to think, since you love animals so much, as to why the major continents, some of them have a large flightless bird, like the ostrich, the rhea in South America, and of course the emu in Australia? We don't have anything here in North America, but did you ever think about why, how that evolved?
That is a very, very good question.
Mhm.
Sue, can I ask you to click on where it says more and to make me host? If you click where it says more.
She needs to turn on her microphone.
Yeah.
Under participants.
Yeah, on this under participants, if you click on, if you look on your participants, and click on that, it'll bring up a little bar on the side for you, and then it says Sue host. Can you now?
And it says
hang on. Maybe I've worked
you're in.
I reclaimed. Right, now we can share our screen. Sorry about that, everyone. That was a little bit of an oops. that went along the way. Right, our lesser known animals that we've got today. Yes, oops. This is a meerkat on the picture here. They are the most awesome creatures. They're little, they're noisy, they are inquisitive, and they spend their time looking to see what nonsense they can get up to. So they are really, really amazing creatures. But today we're going to learn, come on, talk to me, about all of these animals that I've put up here. We've got the warthog and we've got the wild dog. They are beautiful. We've got the springbuck and all the other antelope. We've got the aardvark, which is a very strange, aardvark is an Afrikaans word, which means a pig of the earth. And so he spends his life digging in the earth. We have the wildebeest, pangolin. We have the meerkat. We've got the jackal. We've got hyenas. And we've got the ostrich. Sue, I'm going to go and look, Beata, I'm going to go and look up the reason why we have the flightless birds. It's so interesting. That is such a good question that you asked. So let's have a look. Which animal would you like to learn about from the ones we've just seen by looking at their silhouette?
I guess I'd like to understand the difference between the jackal and the hyena, because I actually thought they were the reverse. Just looking at the picture.
Right. So let's first of all have a look at the hyena, number 11, and see what all about the hyena. The hyena has a back that goes down. He looks like he's slinking along as he walks. His back legs are kind of bent, and he really looks like he's a slimy sort of sly creature. And they are scavengers. They are very quick to take food away from a lion kill. They'll stand around and they'll wait their chance and they'll take. They don't kill themselves. They would not go out and kill a buck. They would wait till something else kills it, and then they would scavenge off it. So there are two types. There's the brown hyena, and there's the spotted hyena, which is known as the laughing hyena, because it cackles. It really sounds like a witch cackling. And that is called the laughing hyena, and it's the spotted one. But by no means, look at those jaws. They have got incredibly strong jaws. And so if you got bitten by one of those, your bone would just crack into 100 pieces, because those jaws are made to crack open the carcasses of animals to get every last piece out of those carcasses. Some of the brown ones are actually quite woolly looking at times, but they and the little babies are very woolly looking, so they're very, very cute. The spotted hyena is the one that you see more often than the brown. They are solitary and nocturnal, so they're only out at night. They're not out during the day at all. And they live in a clan, but they don't eat together. So although they live as a family, they eat as an individual. They prefer to eat as on their own. And the mum has 4 little babies at a time at the most. Now, you were talking about the jackal. The jackal actually looks a little bit like your coyote. It looks like a dog. With its pointy ears and its long, very elegant body. This is a black-back jackal, which is the one we get in South Africa. And he howls. You can hear him howling at night. When we lived in South Africa, right up until we left, we lived out of town. And often you could hear the hyenas calling at night. As they were walking around looking for rabbits and any other live food that they could lay their hands on. They feed on small mammals, reptiles, birds. Also, they will certainly, if there is something that's dead on the road or dead in the veld, they will eat it. but they won't kill it necessarily. They'll only kill small mammals. Anything bigger, they will wait until something else has killed it as well. The mama has a 2-month gestation period, and usually the babies are born in springtime. They're socially monogamous and they bond for life. So if they are in a pack, they will not move to a different pack. They will stay with that pack for the whole of their lifetime. But as an individual, when they mate, that's their mate for life. Any questions? Anybody want to know anything else about them? They're quite small. The hyenas are about 70 to 80 centimeters. So that's not quite a meter long in size. So that's 3 feet, about just under 3 feet in length. They're not that big. No, sorry, 3 feet's a yard. Got to work out. A meter is 2 meters is just on 6 foot. So 3 foot. About 3 feet. Yeah, I am right. I was just getting myself worked out with that. They live for about 20 years in the wild, and the jackal does the same. They go around about 10 kilos in weight for the jackal. They're very light. The hyenas are heavy. They weigh about 40 kilos. So they're a lot heavier and a lot more solid than the light, very quick moving jackal. So that is a big difference between the two of them. Right, now let's look back. What else would you like to learn about?
Aardvark.
The aardvark, okay. Aardvark should be my first one, page 8, yeah. Right, the little aardvark is a lovely little creature. He feeds at night, and he pulls apart the termite houses, and he can eat up to 1,000 termites in one sitting. So he really enjoys eating the termites. They mate at any time of the year, but one of the most interesting things is they live in holes. But they don't go in forwards, they go in backwards so that their head is facing out. A lot of animals do that because it's no use having your nose buried in the ground and your bum sticking out and something can eat your bum. So they're very clever. They turn around and they back into their hole, and there they know they are safe in their hole and they can see out and see what is coming. So that's a very good idea because the aardvark doesn't have good eyesight, but he's got very good hearing. So he can hear a snake coming through the grass and know that it is approaching, and he can take evasive action before there's a problem. When they're born, they're very ugly. They're just pink. They haven't got any hair, and they stay inside the burrow until such time as they have hair, and they start to look a little bit more human or animal-like, and then they come out. But they've got beautiful ears, and they're very gentle creatures. And if they're frightened, they sound just like a goat in distress, and they bleat. It's such a sad sound you hear. You know they're in trouble because of the bleating sound that they make. Sorry, Beata, you're on silent.
They have long tongues,
yes, very long tongues. Yeah, they've got a long tongue to be able to get into that anthill. They'll crack it open, and then the tongue goes in and collects as many of the ants that it can possibly gather. So it really is an interesting thing, but they do stick their tongue in often so that they are able to eat as many as they require. They live up to 23 years in the wild, and humans, lions, and leopards are basically their main predators. The hyena sometimes is also a predator of theirs, but of course the hyena only goes for the very small ones. He wouldn't go for a fully grown aardvark. And they've got this long snout, and they can sniff out their food. They can sniff out the ants that they require, and then off they go, and they eat, and they can of course stick their nose quite deep into anything to find those things before putting the tongue out to get what they want. So they're very well developed for what they do and what they want.
And they're mammals, right? So they
Yes, they're
nurse their
mammals.
young.
They nurse their young, yes. So they come back and help to look after, they come back and check on them all the time, feeding them and looking after them. Very beautiful. They're very beautiful. They've got a horrible name, but they're actually very beautiful creatures.
Tell
Just
us
as a pet.
again what the name means.
Art means earth, and vark means pig. So it's a pig of the earth, or earth pig or pig of the earth. Yeah. So I suppose his sounds but his bleating could be sort of piggy-like, but I think it's much more goat-like when he does it. Right. What else would you like to look at?
About the meerkat.
Okay, let's go down to our meerkat. I know where our meerkat is. They are right down the bottom here. Meerkats are, for me, they are the cutest little things. They live in a group of up to 50 meerkats, and they have a warren underneath the ground with all the tunnels and lots of little places to come up out of. Because you have the most important person in the whole, now, how can I put it? They're not the leaders, but they are the most important person, and that is the sentry. And the sentry has a very special job. The sentry goes out every morning, and the sentry is on guard, and he or she watches for anything that might be coming to invade their home or hurt them. If it's coming from the air, he makes one sound. If it's coming from above the ground, then it's another sound. If it's a snake, it's a third sound. So the whole mob, they called a mob, which is a very perfect name for them, disappear in seconds. They are underground. They're gone. Then when they think the danger's gone, the sentry goes out. If the sentry gets eaten, then they know it's not time to come out yet. And a new sentry is appointed, and out goes the new sentry to find out if it's safe for everybody to come out and play again. So it's a sad state of affairs for the poor sentry. The other very interesting thing about it is that the male and the female, the leader, male and female, they dominate the whole group of meerkats. They are the important ones, and they are the ones who nobody else has any say in anything. Only the two main characters, which I also think is very cute, that they are the ones who have all the say in what goes on in their lives. But they also are the ones who do most of the breeding. The others have to wait their turn. So those two are your leaders of the pack as such, and they will then have the way of being able to control the whole group. But I think of all the things that I found the nicest and the sweetest is when they go to sleep. They don't sleep on their own. They don't sleep next to each other. They sleep on top of each other. They look like a pile of pancakes, and they are just live on top of each other. They just get up and up and up. And here is this pile of meerkats. I don't know what happens to the poor meerkat at the bottom, but he doesn't seem to mind. But they sleep in a pile. And they are so inquisitive. Anytime you see them in the wild, they are standing up having a look. And in fact, our two dogs, they sit up like that for hours, and we call them meerkats because they're sitting there looking at the world on their bottoms with their little paws up, looking to see what's happening. But the meerkat really is, they eat anything. They'll eat bugs, beetles, flowers, fruit, anything that comes their way. They're omnivorous. They really don't mind what they consume. And they make a lot of different noise. They growl, they spit, they hiss, they scold each other, they cluck at each other. And then there's the bark, which is their alarm. And there are 3 different barks. And that tells them what is dangerous or what is not, and where the danger is coming from, which I think is incredibly clever that they have got something like that, to know where to look for the danger, up in the air, above the grass, or under the grass. And so they are a very clever group of little animals indeed. Any questions?
I think it's interesting that in Africa, they call them, these are meerkats. And we have a very similar animal in America called prairie dog. It looks different, but one's a cat, one's a dog. So would you like me to play a 1-minute video of meerkat sounds?
Yes, if you can. I'll get
I Franklin. You can just hear it. Let me know.
Okay.
It's just about a minute.
Yes.
Okay.
All the different sounds that they make. Oh, sorry, I've lost my chair. Oh, there we go. That's better. I was sitting on the ground. My chair went down as I was talking, and down it went. Thank you so much, Beata. We could hear I could hear at least 4 different sounds that they made. There we are.
Okay. That sounds like they're spitting.
That's their scolding.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Oh, thank you, Beata. That was awesome.
Whoops. We'll turn that all off. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That was awesome that you could share that with us. That was great. Right. Now, what would you like to look at? We still have a couple more to go. Which one? I'll make it easier for you. Which one would you like to see?
Isn't a wildebeest also called, I always call it a gnu?
Yes, yes.
I don't know.
In America, they are called a gnu. In Africa, they are called a wildebeest. But the one we have in South Africa is the blue wildebeest, and that one is only found in Africa. The blue wildebeest, number 10. So. Yes, we get 2 types of wildebeest in South Africa. You get the black wildebeest and the blue, but the black wildebeest are endemic to South Africa, but we mainly seem to see more of the blue one along the way. Although, and the only way you can tell the difference between them is their horns. The horns on the black wildebeest come to the front. The horns on the blue wildebeest go to the side. And so and the blue is bigger than the black. So when you are looking at them from a distance, the only way you can tell the difference is by their horns. The horns tell you straight away which ones they are. The coloring, yes, one is more a blue color than a brown, but when it's in the veld and there's nothing if they're standing next to each other, very easy to tell the difference. But if it's just something you see in the bush, the best way to tell the difference is to look at their horns. And then you are able. They love to live in a herd on the open grasslands. They are very happy to live with the other antelope that are there. Very happy to share their space with everybody that they would like. There are 3 types of herds. You either get the territorial bulls that are ready to fight anybody, the main mana. The female who have all the babies with them, and the carefree bachelors who are looking for a female along the way. And they are full of nonsense, the carefree bachelors. They are not interested in having any territory of their own. They're just there for the fun of it. Once they've mated, then they start getting more territorial and wanting to have space of their own for their family, almost like us humans, where you have a family while you're a bachelor. It doesn't matter where you live. You can live anywhere. Once you've got a family, now you've got to settle down and have a place to stay, a permanent place to stay. So those are the three types of herds that you get. Any questions?
They're fast too, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They are very fast. They can run, I think it's up to 35 kilometers an hour, which is, let me just have a look and see if it's on my notes that I've got here with the wildebeest. There he is. There's my wildebeest. He can run up to 80 kilometers an hour. So that's fast.
Yes, that's almost 50. Mm-hmm.
You can run it at 80 kilometers an hour. So for quite a distance, and they weigh 130 kilos. So they're not light, but they can certainly motor when they want to. Well, we've clicked onto the wild dog by accident, so let's have a look at the wild dog. The wild dogs are beautiful. You can tell them by their big round ears. They live in packs, but they were almost extinct at one stage, and they are now coming back, but you don't see them very often. So if you are lucky enough to see a pack of wild dogs, it is really a rare sighting, and it is something to savor, because they're really beautiful, but they are quite dangerous because they hunt in packs. You know, if you're fighting off one dog, you can fight off one dog. Fighting off 10 dogs, you don't stand a chance. And they are prepared to take on an antelope as big as an, I wanted to call it an emu for a second. Eland. An eland, which is a very big buck, which you'll see just now. They are large. I wouldn't take on an eland, even with anyway, but they are prepared, as small as they are, because they're not big animals. They will take on an eland in their pack. So they are really dangerous when they are on the hunt, when they are prowling. And they live with as many as 50 dogs in a pack. So when you do find the pack, then you are very, very fortunate. But they'll go from eating something as small as a hare or a rabbit to eating an eland. The very interesting thing is the dominant male and female, they are the only ones who breed. Nobody else is allowed to breed in the pack. If you do by any chance have an accident or an oops, you are out of the pack and you have to start your own pack. So they are, everybody else looks after the babies. They have a litters of 12 or more pups at a time, and mum can't obviously look after all of them. So the other females become wet nurses and nurses, and they look after the babies that are not really their own, but they're still babies. And then when the dominant female dies, then another dominant female will be appointed. So some females will never ever breed for the whole of their lifetime. They will only be nursemaids, which is quite an interesting thing. That's probably why they were more likely to become extinct, because there's only 1 in 50 that is busy breeding. So but that's nature. That's how nature works with that.
Have you ever seen them in the wild?
Yes, I have. We were so lucky. We were just going into the Kruger Park, and there was a whole pack right at the entrance. Very, very unusual. And the babies were playing, and the mums and dads were sort of lying in the sun, enjoying some sunlight. And that is the only pack I've ever seen. I haven't seen any other pack. it was just so fortunate to see that one on the first day as we went into the park. We thought, oh, we'll see lots. If this is what we're seeing now, we're going to see lots. And we went back time and time again, and we never saw them again. So it is, if you do see them, it's a wow.
And so the ostracization, that really just happens to a female.
No, the male will probably go with her. Maybe some others would choose to go with her.
I see.
But you are not allowed to. They're not to breed.
I'm surprised. I mean, I assume they go into heat. So.
Well, I would have thought so too, but it's just a thing that everybody know. The males know, don't touch. And I mean, males, when males want males, I think it's a very harsh world. It was almost a barbaric world of not being able to procreate when it's your time. But that's the life of a wild dog. It's very different.
Do they only have one litter a year?
No, they can have 2 to 3 litters in a year. So she breeds like rabbits, but no, there's no set breeding time. So when she does, she does. No, they're beautiful. They're really different to any of the other animals around. Right, we've only got a few more to go. We've still got
number 2.
Where's
pangolin?
Number 2? Pangolin, yes. Oh, we haven't looked at the pangolin. We spoke about my pangolin, but we never looked at the pangolin. Pangolins are on page 13. This interactive thing makes it difficult. There's my little baby riding on the back. Now you can see those razor sharp tiles on her back. Those are incredibly sharp. And along goes your pangolin, and then it just rolls itself in a ball if it's in danger. And most things will come and try and play, and they'll either get a scratch or they'll get a very bad whiff, and they'll leave it alone. And so then the pangolin at least has a little bit of safety that way, because there's no other way that they are going to be able to protect themselves. The leopards and the hyenas, pythons are one of the things that likes to eat a pangolin as well. So don't you love the little baby riding on the back? I just think it is the sweetest thing. Even when they're inside their little home, the baby sits on mommy's back. That's its place.
How big are they?
A pangolin it weighs 33 kilos. And they are pangolins. Let's have a look. They are 50 centimeters. So it's just bigger than a ruler. They're not that big. Almost 2 rulers in length. A pangolin.
Oh. Well, their tail is almost as long as their body, I see.
Absolutely. They've got an incredible, they've got a little body and a long tail. So a combination of the two makes probably 2 rulers. A ruler in body and a ruler in tail would give you the sort of size of the pangolin. But when you see them in these pictures, they look probably a lot bigger than they actually are. They're not very big. I've seen them in the Eastern Cape, in the bushveld there. And they're very shy creatures. They don't like humans very much. They're quite shy in what they do.
I understand they're quite threatened. They're highly exotic or something.
Well, most people don't even know. Unfortunately, in the East, they believe that they've got medicinal powers. So they are looked for their medicinal powers, and it's been proved that it's not, but it's a tradition. So that is part of their problem. But one of the things about the pangolin, he eats ants as well. He eats ants and termites, and they don't have teeth, so they pick up food with their tongue, which can reach greater than the length of the body. So their tongue is as long as their body. So if they stick their tongue out, they're quite a long creature. So I'm not taking in their tail, just their body size. Their tail is the same length, their tongue is the same length as their body. So that is something interesting that is about them. And sometimes the tongue can even be bigger than the body. So they've got this really long tongue to get around. Because of no teeth, they use the tongue to grab and hold and do whatever they are going to be. Oops, I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. I thought I was going to sneeze. Apologies.
Are they found in any other continent besides Africa?
I think they are also known as an anteater. So anywhere where there are anteaters, they belong to the same family as the other anteaters around the world. But in South Africa, they're called a pangolin. And you find them in the Eastern Cape area. And as I say, most of my friends said, what? No, we don't have those, because they just haven't seen them. They haven't walked in the bush a lot and seen them. So only if you are sort of somebody, they'll stay away from people. They certainly wouldn't be in a city. You wouldn't find them there at all. So we are then able to do what we are doing. Right now,
they do look like dinosaurs, don't they?
They do. Oh yeah. Or I thought of a sort of what do you call it? A knight in his chainmail that they wear that goes over them to protect them, and they are able to live in this. It must be maybe it's not heavy, but it looks terribly heavy. It looks like they're carrying the weight on their body, sort of dragging them along the ground, but possibly not at all. Now, one of the ones we haven't done, two of them we've got to still do, is the ostrich, which we were talking about. So let's have a look at the ostrich, and then we'll go to the warthog. 14. The ostrich. Now, the ostrich is such an interesting bird. He's found in the desert areas. We have what we call Karoo, which is very dry areas in South Africa. And with this Karoo area that we have, you have got you've got the male and the female. The male is black, and his wingspan, when he wants to, is incredible. His wingspan is up to 6, is very, very big. He looks like this huge creature coming at you. He's enough to frighten the daylights out of you as he comes towards you with this incredible wingspan that he has. And with his wingspan, he is able to frighten off anything. I mean, he can't take off. I mean, he is such a big bird as it is. So he's already got the advantage of having this huge size attached to him. But he is also able to spread his wings out. And as I say, the wings, I think I read, were up to 2 meters when it's out in full. 2 meters out altogether. With the body and the wings, he can be up to 3 meters coming towards you. Now, something coming towards you like that, and they run. They run incredibly fast. They've got strong legs, and they can really hurl along. They can go at 70 kilometers an hour. So that is a speed. I mean, that's faster than a car normally travels on the road. And they weigh up anything between 60 and 140 kilos, depending on their age and their size. But the feathers on the ostriches are used, and I'm not sure if they're still used, whether they use plastic ones nowadays or synthetic ones. But when the dancers in Las Vegas and those feathers are ostrich feathers, were ostrich feathers. And ostrich feathers are used in feather dusters and all sorts of other things that you have. But the important and interesting thing is their egg. Their egg is the same size as 14 ordinary chicken eggs. So if you want to use one ostrich egg, you need a pan like this in order to make a single fried egg, or you make scrambled egg and you make this massive amount of scrambled egg with the ostrich egg. They use them mainly, they make holes on either end, blow out the inside contents, and then they paint them. They are a very something that all visitors love to buy are the ostrich eggs. They paint them and you can take home an ostrich egg. The shell is really firm and hard, so it doesn't break very easily. They've got 2 sets of eyelashes that come up and down because of living in the desert and the desert sand. They can have one lot down while the other's up, and so they are able to filter air and filter sand out very, very easily. Makes it easy for them to do. So they are able to do that. Now, what else would you like to know? The female is brown and the male is black. And there's a saying, you bury your head in the sand like an ostrich. Well, an ostrich only puts its head in the sand when it's chasing after something shiny that it wants to eat. So it doesn't actually, some people believe that they slept with their head in the sand. That's a fallacy. But when they've got their head down, and often if the grass is quite short, it looks like the head is buried in the sand. It's actually just below the grass. And that's where that saying comes from. They can live for 2 weeks without water, so they're like a camel. They obviously have a little pouch in their stomach, which holds the amount of water that's required, so they don't have to drink a lot. Their wingspan is over 6 feet, so 2 meters. It's big. And they are the largest of all the flightless birds in the world. Don't get behind an ostrich. It kicks. It kicks really badly, and it can pick, and that long neck can come and attack you from quite a distance. You forget how long that neck is, and if it sees a shiny thing on you that it wants, it'll come for that shiny thing, because they love they eat stones, they eat anything. They are quite the strangest bird in the world, and they're omnivorous. They will eat absolutely anything. Any questions? Right, let's look at our last thing for the day, which is our warthog. So go back up to the top to the little warthog. There he is. Oh, second last. Got one more to go after that. The warthog, they're normally found in family groups, and they kneel on the front knees while feeding and foraging, and they shelter in burrows at night. And again, they go in tail first, having their face out, watching to see what's going past. You also get them in 3 groups: the solitary boar, the bachelor group, and the matriarch group. So there is your whole grouping together. They're lovely. I had a close encounter with one that got a little too close to me, but fortunately it wasn't a dangerous encounter. I was taking a photo and he came closer than I thought. And when my friend said, stand up, I said, no, I'm still taking. And she said, stand up. But when I got up, he was not even that far from me. He had come to look at the camera, and I thought I was getting him into such a good focus. It wasn't. He was coming into focus of his own accord. But he was lovely. All right, now our last thing that we see here is that these are all our different antelope. I couldn't choose one. The one in the center is the springbok, which is the national emblem of South Africa. You can tell it by its brown on the top, a dark brown stripe, and white underbelly. Beautiful little creature with the curved horns. Same size as the impala. Impalas, you get thousands of impalas. They are the main source of food for all the predators. And the males have these beautiful long horns. The females' horns are not so long. You also have the different ones. I'm going to go round the edge, showing you which ones they are. The first one is an Inyala. He looks like he's got white eyes. He's looking at you, and he's got a little white nose. So those are the 2 things that tell you. And he's got a fluffy coat. He looks like he's wearing a shaggy dog coat. A very beautiful little animal, beautiful horns again. And then you've got the sable. At Gemsbok is at the top. Gemsbok has the black nose, white and white above. While and then the sable has long, beautiful curved horns. The Gemsbok is straight. He's got the straight horns. They don't change at all. You've got the Blesbok and Bontebok with the white face. People can say that it's been blessed. It's got the white face.
So you have to modify this in the future and put those names next to the animals.
I will.
So hard.
Yes, of course, they're all Afrikaans names, most of them. Then we've got the waterbuck that looks as if he's been sitting on the toilet. He's got a round circle around his bum, and he looks like he's been sitting on the loo, or he's a target. We spoke about the eland. This is the eland. It is a really big. It's the biggest of all the buck, and that the wild dog will take it down. So, I mean, that is quite amazing. And then you've got the kudu, which is a really gentle, beautiful bird, buck, which looks like somebody's poured white paint on the back, and the white paint has drizzled down. And then finally, you've got the tiny little bushbuck. And there are lots of those. They are really cute and gentle. They're very shy, and they don't stick around very much at all. So, well, thank you everyone for an awesome time. Sorry about the beginning, but we got ourselves sorted and we were able to get going again. Thanks for the patience at the beginning with that. We have some related classes coming up, a little bit to do with animals. We've got the wildlife encounters and birds in my garden are two of them that are coming up. Boredom Busters for seniors. No, that one's is going to have a rest trivia quiz we've got. So things are changing so quickly. I can't keep my slides up to date because we are forever changing the different ones that we're going to be having. We're really trying to see what people would like and then continue with those. Oh, we're also having games night. Starting with categories next Friday at 7 o'clock, at same time as 7 o'clock in the morning for me, 7 o'clock at night for Michigan area. And then you can work it out after that. And you can also invite your friends to join and play with you as well. And if you'd like to have a request of recording, it's at help@getsetup.io, and any pictures or anything that you have of animals, please send them on to me, because when these do return at some stage, I'd love to have a gallery of other people's pictures too. Well, thank you everyone. That was great of you to be in class with us. Much appreciated.
It's a pleasure.
And thanks for your patience at the beginning.
Very nice job. Thank you.
Thanks very much, and I look forward to seeing you in some of the other classes. Have fun.
Okay.
Bye.